If you're a fan of professional sports, or maybe you watch the Olympics, and it's so fun to watch the greats in action. They make it look so effortless, so easy. And of course, we know it's not. Functioning at the highest level of anything is really difficult. And I'm learning this in real time as an entrepreneur. And the purpose of this podcast is to help you do the same. We learn together. If you're born in the West, in America, like I was in the 20th century, you had some incredible luck, a great head start, lots of opportunity. Most anyone can start a business today, but to stay in the game, to grow a successful business over time, you have to learn and grow personally. If you want to get better at anything, you have to train for it, road test it, adapt, fail, get back up again, and try 1,000 different times. And feedback is hard, particularly when things aren't going well. But the one thing that is helping me the most right now, and maybe it'll be helpful to you, is the art of saying no, protecting your time and energy. And I'll share with you 3 practical ways you can get better at saying no as well today on the Next Simple Step podcast. I'm Paul Goldsmith. Have you seen this incredible video of Olympic gold medalist Shelly Ann Fraser-Pryce? I love this because she went to a field day at her son's school and someone asked her to enter the race with the other parents and she did not hold back. It's amazing. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. She sprinted and of course smoked them. And it was very satisfying to watch because the average person running against an Olympic medalist, it gives you some real perspective of what she's made of her training, of her abilities. And if I were one of the parents, man, I wouldn't want her to give me a head start. I'd want her to go full force because it's only fair. Everyone ought to do their best and you let the results speak for themselves. It's not fun to win if the game is rigged or if someone else lets you. And so I just really love to see people at the highest level. And myself, I want to grow personally and build amazing businesses. If you work for a company, as I have for most of my adult life before becoming an entrepreneur, you can do a pretty good job at that company and not get fired, but you don't have to take much risk. That works until it doesn't, until you get laid off, or you make too much money and they can replace you with automation or somebody else and pay them half as much. But the business owner takes all the risk. So you can choose to get another job or you can go out on your own. And I highly recommend before you have to make that choice, starting something of your own. It gives you options. It gives you leverage if you're not needing that first entrepreneurial experience to be your sole income. If you want to get better at being an entrepreneur, you have to put your neck out there. Try something in the marketplace and get real-time feedback. If people are willing to pay you for that thing, once you get started, it's so tempting to settle. You might have a little bit of success. However, to continue to grow that business is going to take new levels of risk and uncomfortability because it's much easier to just, lay low, protect what you have. But if you're not growing as a business, you're dying. And I've learned that. You cannot rest on your laurels for long. You have to either regain the business of your current customers, you have to continue to invest in them and earn their business day after day, month after month, or get new customers to fill the funnel. Hopefully you get both. One of the things that is helping me to grow, to get better at business is telling people no and turning down good opportunities to have time for the most critical opportunities. It's easy to say no to things that aren't interesting to you, that are clearly terrible opportunities, but it's saying no to the things that you'd love to say yes, or to the people that you really want to please. However, the key to getting better is to do great at the things that are most critical. It's the 80-20 rule. You get 80% of results from 20% of the effort. And so once you figure out what that critical 20% is, you have to go all in on it and say no to everything else. Entrepreneurship truly is all about personal development, building the character and the fortitude to say no and disappoint people if they don't want to hear no. And it's okay. They'll be okay. You'll be okay. Your business will only grow to the extent you do. So here goes. Here are 3 practical tips that you can do just that, to say no assertively. Number 1, be clear and direct. No ambiguous no's. When you decide that this isn't a good fit for you, nip it in the bud. There's no need to over-explain or delay or apologize excessively or to lie. A simple, clear response does it best, at least in my experience. You can just say something like, I can't take this on right now, or thanks so much for thinking of me, but I'm at capacity and I won't be able to help. That's it. And let it go. Number 2, practice saying no. And you want to get in a good habit of saying no to things that are going to distract you. And you can practice in lower stakes situations. And I'll give you an example. Maybe it's a friend invites you for drinks or some social gathering, and you're really at your wit's end, or you just don't have the margin right now. You might really like that friend, but this isn't the right time. That's okay. If they're a true friend, it won't be one and done. They'll invite you again, or you can invite them when you do have the margin. You could just say, thanks for the invite, but I'm going to take it easy tonight and stay in. Let's catch up another time. It doesn't have to be overly complicated. It really does take time to step back and say, well, if I do that, is that going to set me back on this other thing that I've decided is a priority? Everything's an opportunity cost. And I don't think we often think of the cost of doing all of these other things. They add up. The little things become the big things. Another thing that I think is really important is volunteering. Now, volunteering is really important to me. I volunteer for our local food pantry. I'm on the board. I've said yes to that, but I've had to turn down other volunteer opportunities. You can't say yes to everything or most things. And so decide, if you're going to do a volunteer opportunity, then decide to say no to everything else. And you can just tell the person asking you to volunteer that you're not able to take on anything extra at the moment and wish them well. And that's it. It's the idea that you are polite but direct, and it doesn't have to be high pressure. In fact, you probably are telling a story in your head that isn't entirely the full picture. And so you're saying no is a gift because you're not leaving them on the hook. When you say yes and then try to find a way out, that's deception. That leaves people in the lurch thinking, you're enthusiastically a part of this thing, but you don't really want to be there. So just be clear and direct. And I'll give you a bonus way of developing this skill is just offering an alternative option for the person asking you. And I've done this in business. I've learned, don't take on just any business. If it's not the right fit, it's a distraction. And so if you get an offer of business that doesn't fit what you do perfectly, then offer a competitor, because that will build trust immensely when you offer somebody another alternative, even a potential competitor. You can just let them know that you're not able to take on this project, or it's not the right fit for you, but maybe this other company or person would be a better fit. And that will build immense credibility in the marketplace. And I don't have to tell you why this matters, but I think we all just need to be reminded from time to time, because we're in the land of abundance and everybody's got the FOMO. Like, if you don't take that extra phone call, or you do that extra meet and greet, or return that email, that you're going to miss out. I encourage you to have that JOMO, joy of missing out. Build the margin to have enough time to think about the most important things. And when you learn to say no to those non-essential things, it increases your productivity and focus. You get your head looking at the whole picture. And it enables you to actually use your brain and go deeper with those ideas. I recommend morning pages so you can, over time, develop your thinking. I do think we have a shortage of people thinking about their thinking in society. Everybody's just so busy reacting to everybody else instead of drawing back and creating time to think about your most pressing issues, particularly as it pertains to building your business. Another benefit of this saying no, you have more time for the people that matter the most to you, your family, your closest friends, because if you're meeting with every acquaintance that comes across your path, you're saying no to everyone else, the most important people to you. And as a parent of kids who are still at home, my oldest is only going to be there for another couple of years as he's 16, a junior in high school. I know that our time is precious together. And so when I turn down that coffee meeting and can take my son to school, incredibly precious time. As I think about it, another benefit of this saying no is when you're not overextended, you can be more present with those relationships so that you can spend quality time with those most precious to you. In fact, I'm going to go do that right now. So thank you so much for listening. You can reach out at nextsimplestep.com and I'll talk to you next time. Until then, get some sun, go for a run, and don't forget to have fun.